Okay, so we got some more news coming out of the Stephen A. Smith Max Kellerman drama after the former has been making the rounds over the last couple years talking about his old co-host's exit from First Take. However, the most recent podcast interview that he gave with Joe Budden really struck a nerve with fans this time around, as Smith was a little disrespectful to Max with his comments, saying stupid things like Max wasn't an athlete or someone with a journalism background, or that he wasn't on his level in terms of cachet. Yeah, these are some of the things he actually said verbatim. In any event, Stephen A has been taking a lot of heat on social media and even from his old former pal, Terrell Owens. That said, one insider by the name of Marcellus Wiley, who just so happens to be Max's old partner on Sports Nation, came out and discussed this whole situation. Wiley is a former NFL Pro Bowl D lineman and after retiring ended up in broadcasting, with his most recent gig being Speak for Yourself. Since leaving the FS1 network, Marcellus has now transitioned to the semi-independent side of the business with his own YouTube channel. Y'all should check it out because he gives some really good honest takes and different insight to a lot of sports topics. And for some of you older viewers, yeah, Marcellus was that dude on the reality show Millionaire Matchmaker from over a decade ago. Anyways, listen to what Marcellus had to say about this whole situation because he dropped some insight that only a few in the industry might know.
Then I start watching, and then I start knowing what was really going on. Stephen A wanted Max for very specific reasons. Now, I'm going to say these reasons, and everybody's going to have a reaction. He wanted Max first because he was white. He wanted Max second because he was intelligent. He wanted Max third because Max can speak on all things, including some things that even Stephen A can't speak on if you really want to go there. Max's hip-hop knowledge is killing 99% of the people in this world. His boxing knowledge, etc., right? So he fills in the gaps, and also he's Max Kellerman, a white, intelligent dude. All right. Now, Stephen A used to come on our radio show all the time when we were in LA, so I know he was familiar with who Max was, but I don't think he paid enough attention because he got slapped in the face with who Max really is. And then y'all saw the awkwardness that ensued because Max all of a sudden couldn't be who Max really was. Let me take you through it. Stephen A's First Take, the show wanted Max to speak for white America. That's that balancing act. You remember that model? It still exists, but it was really the model. Black, white, all right? We got, highbrow, lowbrow, right? Uptown, downtown, streets, boardroom, all those damn dynamics and contrasts that everybody was lazily just buying into. Especially when you lose Skip Bayless, you get Max. Now, it's not just Max speak for white America, but that would allow Stephen A, brother, get to speak for black America. Now we got it. And then Stephen A felt like he was going to be the king, even though he was already on the best show, #1 rated show, I should say, because I'm speaking for my people. Oh, how empowering. Not only am I #1, but I'm speaking for my people. Okay, now here's the problem. Stephen A, the entertainer, had to meet Max Kellerman, the educator. And boy, that was a class that had a different lesson plan. Stephen A realized quickly that he was dealing with a whole different animal, especially on black issues, especially on societal issues, especially at that time as we're nearing going closer to George Floyd, to pandemic, and Colin Kaepernick was already on the scene. He started to realize he was getting outshined in those conversations. Outshined for these reasons, and I know these reasons. Because Max Kellerman is not only a historian, he has a degree in history from Columbia University, same school I went to, Ivy League school, but the dude is a bona fide genius. Like, he is next level brainiac, for real. High school test scores off the charts. Like, next level dude, I'm just giving it to you like it is. And Stephen A. Smith has admitted many a times how he had his own learning disabilities and issues growing up. So that is, no matter how much he has advanced past that, and you can see the immense vocabulary, etc., and his intelligence on display, it's an insecurity for Stephen A, because he speaks on it as how that was an insecurity. That's fine. But now we got a problem, because you got Max Kellerman in there, who's supposed to go with the flow on these conversations or defer in these societal black issues as they're coming up, the Colin Kaepernick conversation. Oh, we're going to walk through this. And that ain't Max Kellerman. You know what he needed Max Kellerman to do? Is to be a head-nodding white guy and let him be the brother who spoke for all the people. Max will not fight you, but he's not going to dumb down for you.
So Marcellus Wiley was saying that Stephen A. Smith wanted Max because he was white, smart, and could speak on many topics, which makes sense because back in 2016, most of these shows were mixed in the racial makeup of the panel, which might not be the same case for today. You have to think around this time, Skip Bayless had just left a show that he helped create, and Stephen A. needed someone else to come in and fill his shoes. Then you also have to think about what was going on around that time. The country was very divided due to the political climate, and think about what else happened right about then when the pair hooked up in 2016. The NFL season had just got underway, and the Colin Kaepernick kneeling issue was front and center of every sports debate. Now, remember what Marcellus said about Max, that he was very in tune with the social issues going on around the world, therefore his position on the Kaepernick saga was mostly one of support, which is interesting considering how First Take is a debate format. Then I want you to consider which position Stephen A. Smith ended up taking on this topic. This clip where they had former NFL long snapper and Green Beret Nate Boyer on the panel, it was Max Kellerman who was advocating on the side of Cap. In later segments on the same discussion, Stephen A. Smith's position on Colin Kaepernick was a bit different. He was supportive of Colin standing up for his rights, but at the same time, he wasn't fully supportive or all the way in. And I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong on this topic, just merely stating what I saw develop between Max and Stephen A. during these segments. Take a look for yourself.
In this case, it was you saying bad Kaepernick. But meantime, that's not a good enough reason for him to sign away his rights.
Okay. So why do you feel that everybody is attacking you then? It's not coming out of nowhere. Why do you feel that everybody's coming at your head all of a sudden?
Because they feel that I'm being harder on him than I should be.
Saying, and you keep saying we're missing this one point. What I see is almost like you're telling Colin, shut up and play.
Wiley alluded to the fact that Stephen A. was expecting Max to take certain positions on social debates to, I guess, allow himself to shine within his own community. And I guess he was expecting Max to be more like Will Kane, because those two had some really good heated debates that got eyeballs. But that wasn't how Max was built. He was going to speak up on how he truly felt about these social issues, and this might have really made Stephen A. Smith feel a certain way. I mean, just take a look at the context. You have both a white man and a black man talking about social injustice, but it's a white dude in this case who's making the supportive claims and getting the recognition from viewers, or in this case here, one of the most recognizable black men in the world.
And when he doesn't get a job, and I did not come out right away when they said blackballed, right? I did not come out right away.
Max, preach.
Yes.
The perception of Stephen A. Smith within his own community is that sometimes he can be viewed as a black man who isn't fully down with the black cause. Case in point, that's why you had Terrell Owens call him out on his own show because he felt that Smith wasn't fully supportive of his people. I mean, things got to the point where even Charlemagne the God gave Stephen A. Smith Donkey of the Day for his takes on Colin Kaepernick. Smith even invited Charlemagne on First Take to talk about the whole Cap issue in further detail, just kinda highlights, I guess, his own insecurities with these labels. So in essence, I think Marcellus Wiley speaks a lot of truth, particularly on this topic. I'm pretty sure he and Max have even had private discussions on this matter. Stephen A. Smith had expectations that Max was going to take certain positions on these social issues. And if you don't believe me or Marcellus Wiley, think about who Smith greenlighted to be one of his new co-hosts on the show after he showed Max the door. They brought in Mad Dog, who if you think about it, was probably more of what Stephen A. was looking for in Max. I mean, just take a look at how discussions on First Take have gone with him in this segment.
Just shut up and play, will you please? America's tired of